The world has many miracles, and you are about to learn about one of such miracles. A foster father and his wife are doing something mind-blowing. People don't understand why they're doing this, thinking they're crazy, but Mohammad says he acts according to his faith as a true Muslim. This story shocked the world and didn't leave anyone indifferent. Hello friends, today I'm going to tell you about a fantastic story about a man who is considered crazy by some people. They say he's wasting his life. But what he does, and how he does it, amazes me so much that I decided to make a second video about him. I already told you about him once a few years ago. Now I just wanted to find out how he lives now, and there are more details revealed. I'm going to share it with you. Watch this video to the end. It will awaken many feelings and emotions, and I hope you will share it in the comments section. Many call Mohammad Bzik and his wife Dawn angels, while others consider them crazy, deviant people who have wasted their lives. Now you will listen to their story and decide who they are. Mohammad came to America from Libya in 1978 to study. He was an ordinary student, but only until he met Dawn. They attended the same university, and she seemed different. She was always in a hurry, didn't communicate much with others, and was introverted. Mohammad wanted to get to know her better, to unravel her mystery, so he began to court her. She was impregnable and kept Mohammad at a distance as if she was afraid of something. A year later, she confessed to Mohammad and told him that she had a child, but not her biological child, an adopted child, and that he was sick. Another month later, she added that she had 3 children living in her home. She takes care of them. Her grandparents were also foster parents, and she has dreamt of continuing the family tradition since she was a little girl. Dawn realized that no ordinary man would be willing to date a woman who spent all her time after her studies taking care of disabled children. But contrary to Dawn's expectations, the news of the children didn't shock the young man. He decided to go to her house and see everything with his own eyes. At first, he was uncomfortable with what he saw. It took him a while to realize what Dawn was doing. She takes in the abandoned children who have little time left. She's giving them love at the end of their lives. But why? What makes her do this? Dawn's answer to this was, "Try it and you'll understand." She said that sometimes you must take specific steps to understand the answer. So Mohammad began to help Dawn take care of the children. Through this, they became even closer and eventually got married. Without a ring, without getting down on one knee in a fancy restaurant as in Hollywood movies. They got married just out of love, and they didn't have time for a fancy wedding. They had a lot of work. Now together, they could do much more. After getting married, the Bzik family sheltered dozens of children in their home. Soon they were running foster parent courses. Dawn lectured and became one of the state's leading experts on foster care. She was invited to tackle difficult issues along with a psychologist, doctors, and police officers. While Mohammad stayed with the children, I believe every child has a right to have a mother, a father, a family, and a place they will call home. There must be someone who will always be there for them in times of need. It was as if he had found himself. He felt that this was the meaning of his life, to help children in their most challenging period, becoming a guide to the other world. The children were different. Very few liked active games. Almost none knew how to play. Some were very weak, some were scared to death, and some were sick. He was sometimes exhausted by all of this. On the other hand, Dawn was not afraid of anything. She said she had to be vital to give her energy to the children. She gave so much that she began to get sick frequently. Later, the newlyweds gave birth to a boy with a disability. Mohammad said Adam had a congenital genetic abnormality. It's the way God created him. A tiny crystal dwarf boy with osteogenesis. When his parents changed diapers or put on his socks, his bones could break at the slightest touch. But today, Adam is 19, weighs just over 30 pounds, and lives with a loving father. Why did I only mention his father? The thing is, Dawn is gone. In 2000, she became ill and began having seizures, after which she was lying exhausted for weeks. having difficulty moving around the house, and wouldn't go out in public because she didn't want people to see her seizures. Before that, she was active, performed many speeches, and helped many people. She got depressed, lay exhausted after another seizure, and tormented herself and her husband with questions. Why me? For what? I had done so much good to people. I could do so much more. Why did I need this illness? Mohammad tried to comfort his wife by giving her the example of their young but patient children. But the result was another family quarrel. This went on for more than 10 years. In 2013, they had to divorce, and a year later, Dawn passed away. He can hardly hold back tears when Mohammad talks about his late wife. I met her in 1989. She captivated me with her kindness. Dawn was already taking care of 3 children then. She adopted the little ones when she turned 18. Left alone, Mohammad didn't stop taking the children into his home. Though he had been alone for a long time, he could not expect help from Dawn, who was ill. Since 2000, Mohammad has had no rest, vacations, or weekends. But in 2010, he allowed himself a 6-week trip to visit his family in Libya, and that was it. Mohammad only leaves home on Fridays to go to the mosque, leaving his foster daughter with a nurse whose services are paid for by the sponsors. Once or twice a week, he puts his little girl in a stroller, and together they visit the local hospital. He only visits it to check if there is a new terminally ill abandoned child. Mohammad has been doing it for years, but lately, he is no longer physically able to do it. He is 62 years old, but feels like he is in his 80s. He is exhausted. The children Mohammad adopted often lived much longer than doctors said they would. The most remarkable and fantastic example is the little girl who lives in his home. You see her on the screens now. Doctors said she wouldn't survive to be a year old, and now she's 8 years old. She has a rare brain defect. She is deaf and blind, and her arms and legs are paralyzed. Mohammad adopted Jenny when she was only a month old. Mohammad says the secret is simple. He gives her a piece of his life. But people hate him. They say there is no point in prolonging the suffering of such children. Many don't understand what it's all about and even think Mohammad is cruel.
I know it's heartbreak. I know it's a lot of work. I know it's gonna hurt me sometimes, I feel sad, but in my opinion, we should help each other,
Mohammad Bzik intends to continue caring for terminally ill children as long as possible. He can't live any other way. He wouldn't sleep at night. These children have never had a family. He adopted them, and they are no longer abandoned. Who would take care of these severely ill children? A deep bow to Mohammad and his wife Dawn. Who else would be willing to shelter and raise them? It is a great deed, a great effort. What do you think about it? Share your thoughts in the comments section. It will support our channel.